All right, let's talk about this because a huge three-team trade just dropped kind of out of nowhere, involving the Cavs, the Kings, and the Bulls. And honestly, at first glance, a lot of people, myself included, were just scratching their heads. So let's really dive in here. Let's connect the dots and figure out what each of these teams was actually trying to do. I mean, it wasn't just us, right? Even the legendary Charles Barkley chimed in, saying this trade makes no sense for either side. And look, when you've got a Hall of Famer like Chuck completely baffled by a deal, yeah, you know there has to be something more going on under the surface. We gotta look closer. So, what is really going on here? Was this just a messy, confusing shuffle of players and picks? Or was it a series of brilliant, calculated chess moves? Well, we're gonna break it all down, piece by piece, team by team, and really uncover the hidden strategy behind it all. Okay. Let's kick things off with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, their angle is maybe the most interesting because it's this mix of what they need on the court and a massive financial play. And really, it all boils down to one single gigantic number. $50 million. Let that sink in for a second. That's the amount of money the Cavs are going to save in salary and luxury tax, all from this one single trade. For any NBA front office, that is an absolutely game-changing number. Just huge. And you can see the impact right here. They were staring down a projected luxury tax bill of $164 million. And bam, with this move, they sliced it all the way down to $120 million. You know, this isn't just about saving money this season. This is about giving themselves some serious breathing room, some real financial flexibility for the next few years. But here's the kicker, right? This wasn't just a simple salary dump. Oh no, the Cavs were smart about it. They used this deal as a chance to zero in on a very specific and, frankly, a very rare kind of player. The guy they brought in is part of a super exclusive club in the league. That's right, they picked up Keon Ellis, who is one of only, get this, 2 players in the entire NBA who can do what he does defensively. And when you see the numbers, you'll understand why that's such a big deal. They are absolutely incredible. So, the numbers really do speak for themselves. If you look at his stats on a per 36 minutes basis, which is just a great way to even things out and compare players, Ellis is averaging at least 2 steals and 1 block. Think about that for a guard. Someone who can get in the passing lanes and also protect the rim. That is a unicorn and a perfect fit for the defensive identity Cleveland is building. All right, so now let's pivot over to Sacramento. For the Kings, this was a totally different story. This wasn't about the money. This was a surgical strike. They had one very specific, very obvious hole in their starting lineup, and they were laser focused on filling it. They were hunting for that prized possession in the modern NBA, a 3-and-D wing. So, for anyone who might not know, what exactly is a 3-and-D wing? Well, it's pretty simple. It's a player on the perimeter who's great at 2 things: hitting 3-pointers on offense, that's the 3, and playing lockdown defense on the other end, that's the D. In today's league, these guys are like gold. They are so valuable. And man, the Kings needed one badly. And boom, with this trade, they got their man, DeAndre Hunter. He is exactly that guy, a proven 2-way player who can slide right into their starting 5 and be that perfect piece to put alongside their stars, De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. I mean, look, he's a known quantity. He's 28, right in the middle of his prime, and he's going to give you a solid 14 points and 4 rebounds pretty much every single night. But what's almost as important is that contract. He's got 2 years left. This isn't some short-term fix. This is a guy they're plugging into their core for the foreseeable future. And that brings us to our third team, the Chicago Bulls. Now, you might be looking at this and thinking, wait, they didn't get a star player, and they didn't save a boatload of money, so what was in it for them? Well, the Bulls played the role of the grease that makes the wheels turn. They were the facilitator, the team that made this whole thing possible, and you better believe they got paid for their trouble. Their game plan was actually pretty simple, but really smart. First, they had some cap space, so they just absorbed Dario Saric's expiring contract. That was crucial to making all the salaries match up. Then, to make room, they waived Javon Carter. And for doing all that logistical work, well, they collected their payment. So what did they get? Their haul was 2 future second-round picks. Now I know that doesn't sound like a franchise-altering return, but for a team like the Bulls, who are playing the long game, these picks are valuable assets. They're like lottery tickets. You can package them in another trade down the line, or you can take a swing in the draft and hope you find that diamond in the rough. So when you step back and look at the whole board, the puzzle that seemed so confusing at first, well, it actually starts to make a whole lot of sense. This wasn't one of those trades where you're trying to figure out who won and who lost. This was a case of 3 different teams with 3 completely different goals, all making a move that they believe gets them closer to where they want to be. So let's just boil it all down one last time, right? The Cavaliers, they got money saved and a defensive specialist. The Kings, they finally got that 3-and-D starter they've been searching for. And the Bulls, they played it smart and added a couple of future assets to their war chest. You've got 3 teams with 3 very clear, very different strategies all working at once. So, there you have it. A trade that, on the surface, looked, well, like nonsense, was actually a really calculated play for everyone involved. And that leaves us with just one final question. With all the chess pieces now in their new spots, who do you think made the best move for their future?